Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lucky Dog Gen 6 Tuesday nights here from Chicagoland Speedway. Got 100 laps for you. Very tight car tonight. These guys will be battling, especially back there in dirty air. They're going to be battling to get these cars turning for everything they're worth. So we'll keep an eye on that all night. Before we get too deep into anything else, go ahead and go through your starting lineup. Starting on pole, we have the 777 of Michael Pegg, and to his outside, the number 25 of Mr. Ray Zerkut. Starting in third, we have the 17 of John Held, and to his outside, the 23 of Joe Wright. Starting fifth, we have the 20 of Derek Garrison. We know that man is fast. And to his outside in sixth is the 22 of Brad Lane. Starting seventh, we have the 19 of Ben Gear, and to his outside in eighth is the 48 of Eric Calhoun. Starting ninth, we have the 111 of John Henderson, and in 10th, we have the 92 of Shane Bowie. In 11th, we have the 26 of Jason Cavaney, and in 12th, we have the 21 of Johnny DePasquale? Johnny D. Starting 13th, we have the number 5 of Kevin Freeze, and in 14th, we have the 43 of Sandy Curtis. Starting 15th, we have the 59 of Ralph Blair, and in 16th is the 52 of Gary Sr. Starting in 17th would be me, but I'm in the broadcast booth, so I will not be calling this one. Sorry, I will not be racing this one tonight. So, and 18th, we have the 89 of Randolph Richard. And 19th, we have the 91 of Joel Guy. It does appear that we have 7. Counting me, 8. Total 8 drivers who opted to not start this race. Is unfortunate. Some of these guys very, very fast. The number 6, the number 85, the 140, all of those guys setting down absolutely bangers of lap times. So it's unfortunate to see them duck out, but we'll try and have a good race for them. So, like mentioned, 100 laps here. Playing around a little bit with the setup of the car. We are only running 80% fuel this evening. Typically, we run 100% fuel. So 100% fuel here, you could get something like 54 or 55 laps, but at only 80% fuel, these guys are only going to be able to get, if my math is correct, between 40 and 43 laps of fuel. Some of these guys will be able to stretch it, and those guys are going to be dangerous. They'll be very, very difficult to beat this evening. But Michael Pegg leads them down that front stretch towards that Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. Fantastic start from the 23 up there at the top, still side by side with the 777, but a huge gap between himself and the 23. 23 did not get going the way he wanted, so he's backed up that top lane. Ray Zerkut not able to keep it right beside all those guys there along the top. He loses 2 positions there off the start, gets passed by the 17 of John Held and the 20 of Derek Garrison. And these are folks that Mr. Michael Pegg is going to be worried about all night long. Michael's got that great track position up there up front. We know the Gen 6 car, clean air, was king more so in just about any other car that NASCAR had, especially here at a track like Chicagoland in a setup that is as tight as this one. These guys are going to be fighting all night long to make passes. This is one of those tracks, one of those cars, one of those setups. If you're going to make a pass, you have got to make it early, because it looks like we are 3-4 wide here in the back. Looks like everyone got through it just fine. Back there, we believe that's around the 48. A little slight contact between some of these cars, but nothing too crazy. Oh, car on the wall. I think that's the 26, Jason Cavaney. That is. That's the 111 of John Henderson. Like maybe he tagged him in the right rear. We'll go back and we'll take a look at this. Caution is out. So going here through turns 1 and 2, they're going through just fine. Jason down low, John up top. And that's looks like the 111 either got loose and overcorrected or didn't expect the 26 to be there. It definitely looked like he came down the track and tagged Jason. And he definitely came off the wall. And they were hooked together for most of the backstretch. Let's go ahead and we'll ride along board with John Henderson here. I think he got loose and just overcorrected. Not so certain. I mean, I think that's what happened. I think he typically runs a negative offset. But he definitely came down the wall. Down from the wall and got that 26 there in the right rear. Jason Cavity not going to be happy about that. And so we have a few folks here as we go ahead and we catch up to where we are. Actually, we got a few folks who did opt to come down pit road. We've got the 52, Gary Whitmer Sr., the 43 of Sandy Curtis, the 59 of Ralph Blair, do believe the 89 of Randolph Richard, the 91 of Joel Guy. Obviously, the 111 came down pit road. He had damage to that car. And the 23 appears to have parked it on pit road. Not certain what happened to that guy, but hopefully, I mean, he's currently scored a lap down. Hopefully, he's able to get that thing fixed and back out on the track. And the 26 of Jason Cavany currently showing a lap down. Probably had to take some time to fix that car. It looks like he was not able to get off pit road before these guys came around the track. So keep an eye on that. 92 hits pit road again, as does what looks to be the 43. Both of these guys topping off with fuel. They're trying to get these cars to go as far as they can on this fuel run. So we'll see how that works out for them. Michael Pegg opted to stay out, as did the top 9. Michael Pegg in first, John Held in second, Derek Garrison, number 20, he is in third. Mr. Ray Zerkut, he's in fourth, and the 22 of Brad Lane. That is your top 5. A little bit of juggling here. John Held here in the 17. He started third, running second. Derek Garrison started 5th. He's up 2 spots to third. Ray here started second, back to 5th. Sorry, back to 4th. So he's lost two spots. And then the 22 of Brad Lanes, he started 6th and is up to 5th. So he's made up 1 position on all of this as we get the 1 to green. Ben Gear, he's moved up a couple spots here. That number 19, Ben, started in 7th. He's up to 6th. Johnny D, back in that 21 car, he started 12th. He's currently up to 7th place, so he's made up quite a few spots. 48 is right where he started. Kevin Freeze in that number 5. That's a beautiful car. He started back in 13th up to 9th, so he's made 4 spots. And then to round out your top 10, the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr., he started 16th up to 10th. So he's made up 6 positions since the start of this race. Some of these drivers we already see in big track position moves being made. Some on pit road, some off of pit road. And it does look like Jason Cavany was able to get it back out. He has only scored 1 lap down. That's good. We should see more of him before the end of this race. Pace car ducks off onto pit road. Green flag is back in the air. About even start from the front 2 lanes. Michael Pegg getting an excellent push, though, from that 20 of Derek Garrison. We mentioned Derek Garrison very fast. If you talk about someone... Oh, looks like 25's going around. It looks like he may have already disconnected. So go ahead and we'll watch this a little closer. They get going here into turn 1. Looks like the 25 came down the track across the nose of the 48, and yep, he just disconnected. So go ahead and we'll ride along with we'll watch from our friend the Chopper here. Because I believe the 48 stays pinned on that white line. He gets a little loose, goes down to the white line. He had nowhere to go. 25 just comes down across his nose, collects the 5 and the 92. Slight damage to both of those cars. That is most unfortunate. But tell you, so long as he didn't have any contact, and we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at this. So long as the 26 didn't touch anybody, he should be back on the lead lap. Should be our lucky dog recipient. So he's high through here, just trying to stay out of the way. He sees the chaos below him. Stays up high. Does not appear to make any contact with anybody. Let's go ahead and we'll watch this from... because I think he's got a pretty good view. See that 25 go down the track right across the 48's nose. He just goes up the track, gets out of the throttle, and so that should put him back on the lead lap as he just gets the wave around. Always good to see as many lead lap drivers as possible. Very happy Jason got his lap back. That's a fantastic looking car too. I think out of all the Kevin Harvick paints that we saw him run in Cup last year, the Harvick car that he ran at, I do believe it was Phoenix, definitely up there at the top of the list. So nice to see that car out there on the lead lap. As we have our first round, well, I guess second round of pit stops. A bunch of people came down pit road, put some fuel in it. The 59 of Ralph Blair. So he comes down again to go ahead and top off, as does the 111 of John Henderson. Both those guys came down pit road just a couple laps ago. The 17 of John Held, the 5 of Kevin Freeze, the 92 of Shane Bowie. A bunch of these guys, 43 of Sandy Curtis, a bunch of these guys came down pit road just to go ahead and put some fuel in. I'm looking at some of the times. Jason Cavaney has not come down pit road, and he doesn't really need to. Kevin Freeze had a 12-second stop, so I think he may have had some... the 5 may have had some damage on the front of that car. Looks like that he got that all fixed up. And so with these guys coming down pit road here, it's lap 11. And, you know, someone like, so we saw him come down pit road a second time, John Henderson and the 59 of Ralph Blair. Both of these guys came down pit road together there. Randolph Richard came down pit road a lap ago. So some of these guys have about as much gas as you can put in these cars right now. We were talking that they only had between, 40 and 43 laps of fuel. And unfortunately, I still think it's a little too early for them to be coming to pit road and be able to make it to the end, especially with the lap speeds. You see a lot of these cars pulling. There's a lot of on throttle time here at Chicagoland. So I don't think they're going to be able to save to make it on one stop from here. I think they're still going to have to come down pit road and do 4 tires and fuel. But what this will allow them to do is it'll allow them to push that pit stop out a little bit further. And that's a little bit of a gamble here. Do you want to do that, especially when you have 777 of Michael Pegg? You got the 20 of Derek Garrison. Both these guys already shown they're very fast. The 22 of Brad Lane we haven't seen too much out of him. He's kind of been quiet, sneaking his way through there. The 48 of Calhoun, he's been pretty quiet as well. Are these guys, what kind of speed do these guys have? And then you get your 5th place driver, Ben Gear. Can't count him out. Because if he sees any of these guys ahead of him make a mistake, he is going to pounce all over it. This pace car goes ahead and dips off the track into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out. Derek Garrison gets another fantastic start. This time to the outside of Michael Pegg, though Michael Pegg's got that preferred lane. He'll clear Derek well before they enter turn 1. And he's going to bring the 22 with him. What that 22 is going to do, what Brad Lane's going to try and do, is get clear of that 20, but I don't know that he's going to be able to. He is not. He is stuck down there on the bottom, and that's not where you want to be here long terms. Derek Garrison gets to the outside of the 777, puts a little bit of a side draft on him. And we've seen this here in some of our races here at Lucky Dog before. That outside starts to get going, and it just takes off. Especially at a track like Chicagoland. I mean, these guys up here at the front, I want to say they have about, little contact between him and Michael Pegg. Michael came up the track a little bit. His car should be okay. But that's kind of what we're talking about. These cars are really tight, and they're just going to get tighter as this run goes on. Michael Pegg wanting to move up that track. He's recognizing already these tires are already starting to go away. We are 4 wide down the front stretch. Michael Pegg, and it looks like he backs out of it a little bit. I'm going to let these guys go. We're 3 wide going into turn 1, and this is for 2nd place. Michael Pegg is not going to be able to clear these guys, I don't think. No, he does. He gets both of them. He cements himself in 2nd place, but he sees that outside lane is really starting to get to work. Does that mean he's going to move a little bit higher? He does. Battle lane up off the bottom. He knows if you need to make someone pass you here, you need to make them pass you low, especially with the age of these tires. They're not too many laps on them, but there's just enough. Oh, caution. Looks like the 92 on the wall. 92, 26, and the 22. They're still wrecking. Oh, my goodness. What happened there? All right, so we're going to back this up a little bit further than I normally do. So they're going through turns 3 and 4 here behind Michael Pegg. They're negotiating. 92 does not get a good run. Looks like he's taken 3 wide here. And the 22 tagged him in the right rear. I'm not certain if the 22 came up the track or if the 92 came up the track. It definitely looked like both of them expected there to be more room than there actually was. It looked like a little bit of both. The 92. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to here we go. Yeah, so it looks like the 92 comes up the track to try and get a little bit better arc into the corner. At the same time, the 22 comes down to give room to the 26 to his outside. So, I mean, I'd call that just a racing deal. Both these guys sort of racing for the same piece of real estate, not realizing what the other one was going to do. And unfortunately, the 26 of Jason Cavaney is just, he's caught up in the carnage. And that's not how you want to be talking about someone every time you see him on screen. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to ride along here with the 22, I believe. We'll go ahead and we'll ride along with him. It does look like the 22 had to take a tow. And if what I'm seeing is correct, unfortunately, he has opted to disconnect. So that leaves us 14 drivers in our field. Your leader currently being scored is the 20 of Derek Garrison. He was able to... Oh, no, I am wrong. I am very wrong. Hey, man, look up and open your eyes. All right, so the leader currently being scored is the 43 of Sandy Curtis. Sandy Curtis came down pit road 8 laps ago and just took some fuel. Starting behind him in the second place will be the 59 of Ralph Blair on the exact same fuel strategy. Behind them is the 20 of Derek Garrison. He has come down pit road just a couple laps ago. Just a splash of fuel, as did the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr., who is currently being scored. Oh, no, that's... Look at me not paying attention. Yep, we're looking at the right thing. All right, so Derek Garrison and then Michael Pegg will be fourth, and behind them is the 91 of Joel Guy. All of these guys started, just took a splash of fuel. Looking, though, here, behind them in the 6th place is the 5 of Kevin Freeze. And Kevin here came down pit road just a couple laps ago and took tires. So Kevin probably took a look at his fuel calculator and realized that he can make it in one stop from here, and if he can have a little bit fresher tires than everybody else, make his way through all these people, then he'd have a good shot. Look like we have an update to our top 5. 43 of Sandy Curtis is first. To his outside is the 20 of Derek Garrison. In second, the 777 of Michael Pegg is third. That puts the 91 of Joel Guy. He will be your 4th place driver. And Kevin Freeze in the 5 is now top 5. So that's going to be dangerous for these guys ahead of him because he's got fresh tires. I'd say probably he's the guy furthest ahead with the freshest tires in the field. The next guy on fresh tires is Shane Bowie back in 8th. And he had to take them because he was involved in that wreck. And then behind him, the next guy is Ben Gear back in 10th. So these guys really need to look out for those fresh tires. They are going to be coming. They're going to be coming with a vengeance. But that 5 GMAC squad car, GMAC Financial car, that's one to watch. So you head to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out. Excellent start from both lanes. Sandy Curtis looked like he got a much better start than the 20, though. 777 already cleared the 20. Sandy Curtis out to the lead, and they brought the 5 of Kevin Freeze with them. Now, here's where we start asking questions. Kevin's on fresh tires. He can send this car wherever he wants, as fast as he wants. He just needs to make up these positions quick. He's already looking to that outside. Sandy Curtis guarding that bottom from the 777 of Michael Pegg. Michael Pegg, though, we know from talking to him, he just likes to ride early on. If he can lead, he'll lead, but what he'd prefer to do is be back behind you. And it looks like he's going to go for the lead here. It's going to be a challenge. He's got the 43 who was outside. The 43 was getting a nice push from the 5. 5 looking low. He's just looking for a place to go. He knows he's got better tires than both these guys, and he wants to get out ahead of them, get clear of them, and start checking out. See, he's able to already take the fight to Michael Pegg. Looks like he's going to clear him here going down the front stretch. Excellent momentum run. He's able to clear him, drops down in front, so that puts him in a commanding spot going into turn 1, but he's probably, he dives it down low. He saw Sandy looking to guard the middle. Kevin Freeze dives that car way down low. Kevin Freeze, now your leader. Like I said, I'm fairly certain he took fresh tires, and this is his opportunity to go ahead and check out. That draft toe that he's given to those guys behind him, Sandy Curtis able to stick right with him. Sandy tags the wall there. That's going to slow him down. 777 of Michael Pegg looking to see if he can capitalize. He's able to get past the 43, set his sights on the 5. We've talked with Michael before. He likes to just kind of let people go. Almost contact between him and the 5. Not certain what the 5 is doing. Did he not take fresh tires? I believe he did. With Sandy Curtis and Michael Pegg already working their way back past the 5. This is not what you would expect to see. I mean, like we mentioned, these tires are not that old. 92 inserting himself into the picture. He's running high. 92 Shane Bowie. We speculated he took fresh tires. He probably had to because he was involved in that caution. He's looking for a place to go. He's looking maybe 3 wide. No, backs out of it a little bit. You know, maybe I'll just stick with the 5 right here going through the corner. He's keeping it right down there on the white line, trying to get as good of a run as he can without being able to use all of the track that's in front of him. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a second. We're going to ride along with the 20 of Derek Garrison because he's got the best seat in the house, seeing all of this happen ahead of him. Got the 777 of Michael Pegg up top. The 5's got the 5 of Kevin Freeze down low. Those two really fighting for the lead. 21 to the inside of Derek as they go into turn 3. Looks like Kevin's able to get back out ahead of Michael Pegg. Clears him off the turn 4 exit. As he puts himself back in the lead. I don't think he's realized yet that that middle lane, that's where you need to be if you're going to be making decent time around here, especially if you want to keep people behind you. If you can be higher than them without keeping it in the wall, you get fantastic momentum runs. Those guys have to get out of the throttle so they don't run you over. And I think he's seeing that right now. Michael Pegg got alongside of him, but had to get out of the throttle coming out of turn 2. And he's getting these really nice runs going down the front stretch. Shane Bowie takes him 3 wide for the lead. Gets loose, saw that Michael Pegg was not going to give him the room to come back up the track the way he wanted. Michael Pegg backing out of it, 21 passing him low. 6 cars under a blanket here, all battling for second place. Kevin Freeze keeping it right up there, up top against the wall. Getting the best runs that he can. That 21 of Johnny D looking to do everything he can. 5 not quite clear. Not able to clear down in front of the 21, so it's going to pull this 777 right back up to him. 21 keeping it down low. Number 5 putting it right there, more towards the middle side. Sorry, not the middle side, the top side of the middle lane. As he fights, 91 in the walls. It's going to bring out a caution. Everything stays green. Suspension is broken in the right front of that car. He's not able to turn. Almost tags the 17. Not able to get it down pit road. He's trying to get it down out of the way. Almost collects the 26. Looked like he's going to have to bring this car for a full lap around. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the right front suspension. That suspension is broken. He hits the walls again. Let's hope he's able to get this thing back around before these guys get to him, because that car is not turning at all. As we head back to our leader, the 5 and the 21 still racing side by side. We talked about him a little bit earlier, the 19 of Ben Gear. We suspected he took fresh tires. He's challenging Michael Pegg here for the 3rd position. He picked his way through the field pretty methodically. He's got the 92 Shane Bowie behind him. Shane Bowie looking to take him nope, it's going to be 2 wide. Ben Gear backs out of it, 2 wide. No, going into turn 3 here. This is the battle for the 4th position as they set their sights on the 777 of Michael Pegg, who backed off. He's just like, I'm just going to let you guys go. Fight it out amongst yourselves. Just leave me alone. Leave me out of it. You want to go by, go by. The 5 of Kevin Freeze, he is able to finally come out ahead against the 21. That Kyle Larson inspired number 5 car absolutely hauling the mail around the top. The 21 tags the wall, hit it pretty hard, shot him all the way down the track. Hopefully he doesn't have any kind of suspension damage. The 43 and the 19 get into it. Going into turn 1. Michael Pegg way up the track, really had to get out of it to avoid getting in the 21. Looks like the 21 may be dealing with a little bit of an ill-handling car after that contact with the wall. 19 and the 43 keep everything pointed in the right direction. It looks like the 91 was able to hit pit road without bringing out a caution, so congratulations to the 91 of Joel Guy. As he came off pit road and latched on to the back of this field. He only came down, it looks like he came down pit road, 4 tires, fuel, and then sent it back out. So he should be one of the faster cars here on the field. currently scored 2 laps down. As a 5 at Kevin Freese finally was able to take what I suspect was fresh tires, put him to work, and he has begun the job of checking out. He is 4/10 up from second place. This field really starting to spread out. And like we mentioned, he shouldn't have to come to pit road before lap 60. If he can make it to lap 60 and then come down pit road, he's only got a 40-lap run to the end of this race. And he's running that high lane, and it's... Oh, 19, a bent gear going around. Looks like that was off the nose of the 91. He's down below the apron. He's the only one down there. This is probably will not bring out a caution. Let's go back and take a look at this. Yeah, they came off turn 4. He got tagged in the left rear. I want to say it looked like he may have come down the track on the 91. We'll take a look. So he's running there towards the middle. He saw the guy ahead of Michael get in the wall. Hard to tell from that angle. We'll go ahead and watch from our friend the Chopper. Remember, we mentioned that 91's got fresh tires. He just came down pit road to get that car fixed from that hard contact earlier. It looks like the 19 was holding his line. 91 came up the track and tagged him. It's unfortunate. 19's able to get it back going, but he is the last car on the lead lap. 23 seconds, now 24 seconds behind our leader. So if we go to Kevin Freese here, as the 91 goes and gets one of his laps back, currently only scored 1 lap down in 14th. So we go ahead and we ride along here with our leader. You can just barely see that 19 car. They're going through turn 1, through turn 2. So he's going to have to do everything he can to hold on to that car. Because this man is coming, and he is bringing the 21 of Johnny D with him. Johnny D running that high lane right there up against the wall, running that Kyler Reddick line, that Kyle Larson line, as he tags the outside wall again. Looks like they're just little brief brushes with the wall, not really causing that much damage to the car, but they can add up over time. I would expect, remember, Lucky Dog does have 2 quick fixes per race. So he'd probably go ahead and use a quick fix on that car when he comes down for his green flag stop, should we get them. But I expect that we will. See the 5, Kevin Freese, he has moved to the bottom. He's trying to run a tire-saving line. He's already 0.6 of a second out ahead of Johnny. So he doesn't need to run this car overly hard to stay out front. He just needs to stay where he's at. As we look further back, Michael Pegg just cannot catch a break. He's got the 43 of Sandy Curtis and the 20 of Derek Garrison all over him. He's like, guys, I just want to save my tires. Go away. But they are just hounding him like nobody's business. Doing a fairly good job, though, keeping it in 3rd place, though, all this racing in between them. This has really backed them up 2 seconds off of the leader, and the longer they run like this, the further back they're going to slide. Michael Pegg, don't sure if he was running that high line to block the 20 or if he was running that high line to try and let the 20 go. Not entirely certain, but the 20 is able to fire it off down into the corner. He's able to complete the pass on Michael Pegg there. Going through turns 3 and 4, 43 is Sandy Curtis looking to see if he can capitalize. Unfortunately, he did not have the lane he needed to really make that work. So we see the 20 of Derek Garrison go back to work there, up there along the top, running right there against the wall. Watching these guys run these cars right up there against the wall makes me wish that I wasn't getting over a cold or something, because then I'd probably have the energy to be out there running with these guys and calling this race right there against the wall. Be an absolute blast. Be a lot of fun doing my one race from the car next season, which I do believe starts next week with both the trucks and the Gen 6s, but I will confirm, and we will go over that during our Thursday stream for the Thursday Truck Series. We will be having another recruitment race for our Truck Series this Thursday night. Practice at 7 as the 21 gets in the wall again, this time on corner entry. The more he does that, the more it's going to affect the handling of that car. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at that right front suspension. You can see the scrapes there on that right front. He needs to be careful about that. These cars, the bodywork is incredibly fragile on these cars. Like we were saying, recruitment race for the trucks should be on Thursday, 7 p.m. practice, 8 o'clock qualifying, 8:05 should be our green flag. And if I'm still feeling up to it and I still have a voice, I will be calling that one. I was going to call last week's, but didn't have a voice. At least not one that would have held up for an hour, hour and a half calling these guys. Let's take a look to see from the gearbox cam here. Kevin Freese has pulled out over a 1 second lead here on Johnny D. And with how this has been going, they haven't been any closer really to Kevin Freese here. But if we ride along with Johnny, he's fallen back towards the clutches of Derek Garrison. He was outside of draft range for Derek, but Derek has managed to close up. He's within a second of Johnny here, about a half a second. So he's getting a good draft pull from this 21 car. You can see that he's choosing to run. Watch for this 21, this 20 runs. This 20 sees that 21 right up there against the wall, and he knows that he can't run up there. He's not going to be able to get a decent run, especially with the 21 bouncing off the wall. We saw him tag the wall there coming out of turn 4. Derek Garrison using every bit of track where the 21 is not to try and make up this gap. He is able, he's almost alongside, he is alongside, backs out of it, lets the 21 go so he can get a nice draft pull going down the straightaway. He is right within a 10th of the 21. They're going to be side by side coming off of turn 4 here. 21's going to have a better run than the 20 coming down the front stretch. But Derek gives him a little bit of a side draft, dives it down into turn 1. It's not going to be an easy pass down there on the bottom. The 21 has the preferred lane. The thing going in Derek's favor is we saw it there coming out of turn 2. The 21 keeps hitting the wall, and that's really hurting his momentum coming down these straightaways. And this is kind of what I was a little worried was going to happen to Kevin Freese, as he was really playing, as we take the halfway, he was really playing with that wall earlier on. As 21 gets hard into the wall, not able to get off of it. He's still going to have a decent run coming out of the corner, not going to draw him to the inside of the 20. Derek Garrison was able to make that pass. We'll find out if he's able to hold it. 21 sends it as hard as he can. No lift. But he's going to have to get out of it here. He gets in the wall and he hits it hard. That backs him up to the 43s. The 43 of Sandy Curtis gets by him. That'll drop that 21 down to the 4th position. The 777 here smells blood. He saw that hit. We're to the point where you cannot full throttle these cars around this track. You have to lift. We saw the 21 did not lift, but was not able to get the nose settled to be able to hold that pass. That's unfortunate. Michael Pegg, though, sees how hard that 21's running. He's like, go ahead, man. You do your thing. I'm going to be thinking about pitting here before too long. We'll see if Michael will be able to make it. He's running slower here than we're used to seeing him run. So wonder if maybe he's doing a little bit of fuel saving, a little bit of clutching through the corners to try and make it on one stop. Michael Pegg here was last on pit road 36 laps ago. And so with him, 36 laps on this tank, should be able to run about another 6. Make that another 5. 5 or 6. Remember my math. Should be able to do another 5 or 6 laps on this tank of fuel. He may be able to make it in one stop. The 5 of Kevin Freese has moved back up to the top. He saw the 20 of Derek Garrison starting to catch him. And in his rear view, he's probably watching that line the 20 was running. He's looking to maintain that 2-second gap. He cannot afford to let Derek Garrison catch him. You see Derek running that high line, the 43 behind him, running that high line, the 21 committed to that high line. Looks like he got it in the wall again because the 777 of Michael Pegg was able to pass him low. Michael Pegg also committed. He's more to that middle, middle bottom, just trying to run where the folks ahead of him aren't. Keep as much clean air on the front of that car as possible. And that's what's allowed him to stay within 3 seconds of Kevin Freese. Kevin's not been able to pull that far away from Michael, but 43 here ahead of him, the 20 ahead of that. All of these guys currently sitting about a second apart between the from Derek to Michael is about a second. So actually from Derek to Johnny is about a second. All these guys staying together very, very well. If Kevin Freese took tires like we thought he did 40 laps ago, that appears like it may have been the play. And I forgot to look. Michael Pegg did take fuel when he came down pit road 40 laps ago. So Michael Pegg probably can make it. If he pits somewhere between now and lap 42, he should definitely be able to make it to the end. Kevin Freese definitely can make it. He's got the pace. Sandy Curtis, though, talk about someone who has been able to milk this car for all it's worth. He can make it from here. He's got 47 laps on this run. So if he can pit here, put 4 tires of fuel in that car, he should be making strides. Look at the 21 of Johnny D was able to get back around Michael Pegg. And I expect we see that 43 hit pit road before too long. Don't know how much longer he can push this car. It's impressive because we were only calculating 42 laps of fuel. He drops to the bottom here, probably thinking about pitting that car, checking up hard. He is coming to pit road. So here on lap 59, coming to lap 60, this is the start of what should be our final round of stops. With him coming down pit road, how's that going to affect everyone who is around him? What does the 20 do in response? What does the 5 do? Does the 5 need to worry about what the 43 is doing? Does the 21 bring it this time? The 5's down there on the bottom, checking up hard. He saw the 43 pit. He's like, okay, I'll bring it down pit road. 20 of Derek Garrison, he stays out. 777 of Michael Pegg hits pit road. Looks like I believe that's the 21. 21 of Johnny D, he stays out. It's a 92 of Shane Bowie. Currently scored 5 laps down. He came down pit road 17 laps ago, so he's just out here trying to get as many laps back as he can. As we see Johnny D, he's coming down pit road. Oh, spins it coming onto pit road. That's horrible. So he gets it spun around. That's not going to be good for his track position. Just overcooked it coming onto pit road. Unfortunate. So that leaves currently only 3 cars who have left to come down pit road. That is the 20 of Derek Garrison, who's making his way through turn 4 right now. He opts to keep it out this lap. The 89 of Randolph Richard and the 111 of John Henderson. Both these guys running right next to each other here with about 9 laps between them and the leader. These guys both on the on the pit road last 44 laps ago to take fuel. Now, if they pit around here, they can make it. Almost got to wonder if maybe they're looking to run these tanks dry. Maybe hoping for a caution. The 20 here, Derek Garrison, he is staying out. And so he was your leader. Kevin Freeze is out. He was able to get down and away. A substantial gap between himself and the 43. 43 back here around the 11 and the 19. So there's almost a full straightaway between himself and the 5. That 777 of Michael Pegg right here with him. We were talking about it early. If you want to make a pass, you've got to make it early while these tires are fresh, because the longer these runs go, the harder it's going to be. And Michael Pegg has already seen the kind of long run speed Sandy Curtis has showcased here. He does not want to be behind Sandy Curtis. He wants to get out ahead of him. He's able to complete the pass there. But Sandy Curtis still, it's got fresh tires also. If he wants to dive it off here into turn 3, he can. He does not. He keeps it right there around the middle. Let's take a look. 20 of Derek Garrison. He is down and away. Got his service. 4 tires and fuel. So this gives the lead here to the 111 of John Henderson, who has opted to hit pit road himself. So what this should do, we'll take a look here. We want to look from the 20 car. I do not believe he was not able to hold off the 5 of Kevin Freeze. Kevin Freeze just hitting the start-finish line as the 20 here is just coming out of turn 4. 5 goes into turn 1. That similar kind of gap. Looks like he's sitting about a 1.5 seconds back. Maybe 2.5 seconds from the guys ahead of him. He's going to have fresher tires than everyone ahead of him. So he should be able to catch the 777 and the 43. As Kevin Freeze reassumes the lead. He should reassume the lead here. Yes, he does. Derek's going to have his work cut out for him trying to catch up to these guys. Michael Pegg, though, got a rear view mirror full of Sandy Curtis. Sandy Curtis looks like he may have found a dancing partner, and the 19 of Ben Gear. Both these guys came down pit road. It's about a similar time. Ben Gear 6 laps ago, Sandy Curtis 8. So very similar laps on these tires. I don't think Ben Gear is going to be going anywhere. So he just sort of falls in line, quite content to push either Sandy or Michael, who's ever's in front of him. That's keeping Sandy Curtis right there with Michael Pegg. Both these guys running the exact same line here through turns 3 and 4. Ben Gear running a little bit higher as it looks like the 92 Shane Bowie comes down pit road to take his final stop. Looks like he brings it to a stop and exits the vehicle. He believes his race is over. That is unfortunate. So we go back to our leader, Kevin Freeze. Kevin, who has a 5-second lead almost over the 777 of Michael Pegg. That is a monster gap that he has built. As he works with the 59 here of Ralph Blair to continue growing that lead. Michael Pegg and Sandy Curtis are going to have to work together to track this 5 car down as he gets cleared from the 59. There's about 4 laps different between these two guys' tires. And that should, I'm not certain if it does, but that should put the 59 back on the lead lap or close to it. Something up with the 5 car. As he peels it off down pit road. I don't see any damage to this car. So he just parks it. Not certain what happened to Kevin Freeze. Oh, looks like he may be disconnecting. Looks like he has indeed manually disconnected, but that goes ahead and gives the lead to the 777 of Michael Pegg. puts him out in front. That is a shame. Hopefully everything's okay with Kevin, because he was absolutely hauling the mail, pulling away from everybody. So Sandy Curtis and here at second place, Michael Pegg gets first. Come to think of it, I do believe let's check and see here. So unfortunately, that goes ahead and drops us to only having 12 drivers in the race, and that is unfortunate. We had some pretty close battles there early on. So Michael's going to do whatever he can to go ahead and stay out ahead of the 43 is Sandy Curtis. Again, we'll go ahead and we'll check in with the 20 of Derek Garrison. He's 2 seconds back. So he's slowly reeling these guys in. He's got 5 laps fresher tires than Sandy Curtis, 4 lap fresher tires than Michael Pegg. Using them for all they're worth to try and catch up. He's probably pushing really, really hard. That'd be my guess to go ahead. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead and get caught back up to these guys. He is close enough. Just while we were riding along with him, he was able to make half a second of time on Sandy Curtis, close enough to Ben Gear that he's getting a really good draft pull down these straightaways. And that is exactly what Michael Pegg does not want to see. He does not want to see that 20 car get closer. But if we watch here from the gearbox cam, you see that green number 20 down there on the bottom of the track, going to try and make a pass there on the 19 of Ben Gear. Ben up the track, looks like he lifted a little bit and let the 20 go ahead. He's not racing him for position. He's just holding on, trying to work for that lucky dog spot. I do believe Ben Gear has currently scored the first car a lap down as the 20 goes for a pass there on the 43. They are tight door to door going into turn 3. Derek absolutely just sends it past the 43 as Sandy Curtis. How much those 5 laps between those two's tires seems to be worth it. Michael Pegg doing what he can to try and run that 20's line, try and take the air off the front of that car, try and really burn up those tires. He sees that 20 coming. He sees all of that time that he lost to Derek. Derek running lower than Michael Pegg, getting all of that clean air on the front of that car. Looks like he's able to get to the left rear quarter panel, dive it down to the inside. He'll be going for the pass here on the inside of turn 1. Michael Pegg probably going to, he opts to just let him go. It looks, I was expecting Michael to go ahead and pinch him down to the bottom as hard as he could. Maybe saw the speed the 20 came with and realized that he was not going to be able to hold him off. He opts to follow in the tire tracks of Derek Garrison. So we'll go ahead and we'll take an opportunity to just ride along with one of our drivers here. We'll go ahead and ride along with the 43 of Sandy Curtis. We have talked about tracks that are cheese graters before. I think we've talked about how brutal Chicagoland is on tires. It's early on in a run. It is all speed all the time. later on in the run, you're really starting to have to lift because you're going full speed over all these bumps. This very rough concrete surface just tears these tires up, bumps everywhere. And it's not the kind of track that, unfortunately, I mean, we've talked, I want to say, if I remember correctly, Kansas and Chicagoland, very, very similar to the amount of on-throttle time there is. Kansas is so much nicer to tires than Chicagoland is. Chicagoland is Las Vegas levels of just brutal to these tires. It's just as bumpy. So all these guys just dealing with that lap after lap after lap. I mean, we were hearing Sandy Curtis how much he was really having to get out of the throttle to roll that bottom, how much he had to get out of the throttle to run the top. I'd be willing to bet that right front tire, he was pushing pretty hard. It is probably, for all intents and purposes, gone. However, with only, I want to believe, coming this time by 17 laps left in this race, these guys probably not too worried about position. I mean, the next closest guy to Sandy Curtis is the 17 that John held. John is 7 seconds back. John does have 1 lap fresher tires, so probably not enough really to make it up to catch up to Sandy Curtis. I mean, both of these guys, I mean, John's running about 1/10 of a second faster a lap. I don't think that's enough time to make up the gap between himself and Sandy. And then John himself, next car back from him is the 89 of Randolph Richard. There is over 4 seconds between these two guys. And Randolph Richard is racing with a pair of guys. I mean, he's got the 21 of Johnny D with him. Johnny D was able to get back on the, was able to avoid going a lap down. He's got the 26 of Jason Cavney with him, who's our second car a lap down. Both these guys just running very, very hard. That 21 obviously running that 89 for position. These guys have been side by side for a few laps now, but it's not doing either of their tires really any benefit. Randolph Richard does have fresher tires. Johnny D, though, is really, really fast around the top up there. Take a second. 20 of Derek Garrison has pulled out 6/10, almost 7/10 on Michael Pegg. Looks like the idea of staying out and giving up some of that time was the proper strategy for beating Michael, at least. We're not entirely certain how this would have panned out against the 5 car. Great run here from the 20. I mean, he kept it out an extra 4 laps on Michael Pegg. And I didn't think that it was going to be that big of a difference, that he'd make up this much time with only 4 laps difference on these tires, but he is scooting away. Slowly but surely, just since we've been talking about him, he pulled out another 0.2 of a second. So we jump back to take a look at our race for 5th place. Tried to speed run that sentence, and that was not the play, I can tell you that. It's 26 Jason Cavney looking low there on the 89 of Randolph Richard again. They're not really racing for position. Jason just out here just kind of hoping for a caution. Let's go ahead and see if he can stay out and get his lap back. Or better yet for him, get the lucky dog. I'm not entirely certain that is going to happen as we are 10 to go. It'll be 9 to go this time by. That 89 looking for all the clean air he can to try and make this pass around the 21. That 21 just keeping it right up there against the wall. He knows where he needs to be to make the lap time he needs to try and catch up. Unfortunately, 14 seconds back with you're just shy of 8 laps to go. Not enough time for him to really be able to make that up. And when we were talking about distance between people, 43 of Sandy Curtis, it's just 6 seconds ahead of John Held. Almost less than 6 seconds. I think it's reading, was it 4 point? Yeah, so that should be... Oh, buddy, that's... That's closer to 5 seconds ahead of John Held back here in the 17. Like we mentioned, John he's back out to 6 seconds. John is making up time. He is faster than Sandy by 1/10 of a second every lap, but it is not going to be enough. I think that 43 car very firmly coming home in the 3rd position, barring some sort of late race caution, which I don't think we're going to get. Let's get back to the leader, the 20 of Derek Garrison, very rapidly catching the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. When he catches him, though, we expect that Sr.'s probably going to move out of the 20's way. Just let him go, and there he goes. Just lets Derek by, knows that's not his fight. If we get a caution here in these last 5 laps, that will put the 52 as our lucky dog. As Derek Garrison moves back up to the top. Just doing his best to continue building this gap between himself and the 777. Michael Pegg just running his line. But as these laps wind down, it looks like he is losing about 1/10, 2/10 of a second per lap to Derek at this point. And the dirty air off the 52 is not going to help the 777 too much, and there's nothing that the 52 can do. Like he's a lap down. He's just out here running. The 777 just caught him at a bad time. There's really nothing that Michael Pegg can do. There's nothing that Gary Sr. can do except keep running their race. Michael doing everything he can to try and get a pull from Gary Sr. Gary Sr. up the track, out of the way. Michael not able to clear him there. I expect Gary will probably let him go here, and he does. So we are 2 laps to go for this man right here, Derek Garrison. It's been fast all night long. Looks like he made, like we mentioned earlier, the exact right pit call to go ahead and put this car out front, staying out. Those extra few laps seemed like they were everything they needed to leapfrog Michael Pegg on the track. Like he caught him and passed him like he was standing still. This is our white flag lap. Derek Garrison, 1.5 seconds. He's got between himself and Michael Pegg. Derek Garrison brings it through turns 3 and 4 one final time. Keep it pointed straight, Derek. He does. Derek Garrison across the line. Derek Garrison is your winner tonight. 777 of Michael Pegg brings it home in second. 43 of Sandy Curtis will be your 4th place finisher. The 17 of John Held is 4th, and the 21 of Johnny D is your 5th place finisher. That is your top 5. Congratulations to all of these drivers. Fortunately, we do not have our race winner, the 20 of Derek Garrison, as he burns it down, and rightfully so, going, just looping it down the front stretch. I love how this man does burnouts. Just kicks it sideways right there at the start-finish line, and wherever it'll spin, that's where he's doing burnouts. Phenomenal race from these guys. So we'll see who all we still have in the chat that maybe we can do an interview with. I believe we only have 2nd and 3rd. So I want to go ahead and take a second to congratulate the 20 of Derek Garrison for a hard-fought win. All right, so we'll go ahead and we will collect the other 2 of our top 3 and have a chat. Alrighty, and we'll go ahead. We'll start with our 3rd place finisher here, the 43 of Sandy Curtis. Sandy, it's William in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, buddy. How are you tonight, bud?
Now, give me a second here. Let me see if I can turn you up. I can hardly hear you, Sandy.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, William?
Well, I can hear you, but your button in TeamSpeak's was not lighting up, which is probably why you're so quiet.
How about now?
All right, let me. I think you're lighting up on the race chat, Sandy.
I'm in TeamSpeak right now, and it's lighting up when I'm speaking.
It might just be an error on my side. Let me go ahead and check the stream real quick, make sure I can hear you. All right, so it's just an error on my TeamSpeak side. It's I do appear that I can hear you. So, go ahead and walk us through your race tonight, Sandy. You were, was it? This race is one of those racetracks. One of those I've seen you struggle at quite a bit, and you seem to have it dialed in almost perfectly tonight.
Yeah, I got lucky. Considering I started in 14th, I didn't think I'd be anywhere up here, but took a couple of stops there. But tires, I found something good for my tires. And first run, I think I was down to 65%. But the second run, I don't know what happened. I kind of killed them. I was down to about 48. But the first set of tires, I went from 0 from first lap until I think it was lap 60 or something.
Yeah, no, and that was phenomenal. We were looking. I want to say it was you we were looking at. I think you pushed the fuel further than anybody. And I mean, I was looking at that. I was looking at that, and then with what I know the tire wear here, and I'm like, how is he doing that? I would not have been able to do that. So it's a phenomenal job tonight. I would love to sit down with you sometime and run some laps, figure out how you did it.
Just luck, my friend. That doesn't usually happen for me at this track, but yeah, I just found a setup that seemed to work tonight for me. Hopefully, it works next time we're here for points. But tonight, it was a good run.
Yeah, and it was hard fought there. I mean, you came down pit road at just the right time. You were able to keep out longer than anybody else, able to hold off everyone behind you. I mean, there was about 6 seconds between you and John Held, and I could tell he was pushing to catch you, but just was not able to make that up. No, phenomenal run, Sandy. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
I like to thank Lucky Dog for these great races they put up and the league that they run. I'd like to thank you, William, for again taking away your race time to do your broadcasting and stuff. And yeah, I just like to thank the wife for letting me down here, and God for giving us what He has.
Well, again, thank you, Sandy, for taking an opportunity to talk to us. Hopefully, we get to talk to you next time.
Yeah, hopefully. Tell Michael, good win, good second place there. I thought I was going to be able to run him down on the long run, but no, he just pulled away that whole last run. He was good, running fast.
Well, thank you, Sandy, and you have a good evening.
Yeah, take care, Will. Thanks.
All right, and that takes us to our second place finisher, Mr. Michael Pegg. Michael, is William in the booth? You got me?
Yes, sir.
Michael, it looked like this was a pretty tough pretty tough race early on. I mean, we had a slew of early cautions, and that really tempered out. But it looked like you were never really able to get a kind of groove going. It looked like you were racing side by side with people quite a bit there early on. Walk us through your race. What was it? What was it like out there?
I thought the car was going to split in half. It was so tight. It was miserable. You just couldn't get speed. You just couldn't use the whole track. The setup was just entirely too tight. And then, somebody gets beside you, just slow you down. But it was definitely a tough track to drive. A lot of competition tonight. But I knew Sandy. I told Brian at the beginning of the race, I said, well, when you told me it was tight, I said, oh, God. I said, that means Sandy's going to be up front all night tonight. Sure enough, here he comes. He is super fast with the tight setup. I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, and he was definitely one of the faster cars all night. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to stick around to the end. As this race progressed, did you think you were going to be able to catch that 5 before he had that disconnect?
No. Nah, Kevin's already checked out. He was pretty much gone. I got caught up in traffic. He got around us, and he checked out, got him a good line down, got in his groove, and he was gone.
Yeah, that was very impressive.
He was doing really good.
Yeah, that's not something you really expect to see, is someone come out and outrun you and Derek and Sandy and all those guys. And no, he had something figured out there.
Yeah, any tight setup, I'm lucky to even get a top 10 tonight. To tell you the truth, those tight setups, I just cannot drive them. My tire wear was that second one was 36.69. It was pitiful.
That is a lot of tire wear. I mean, were you? I'd imagine it was tight everywhere. Were you finding better luck on the top or the bottom?
The bottom, better on the second run, and I got more speed through 3 and 4. That's why I was able to just hang with Derek. I knew he had new tires. I don't know how much later he pitted than me, but I thought he was just going to walk away from me. I was glad I was able to hang with him within a second. But I thought
Would you believe there was only 4 laps different?
Oh, really? It seemed like he
was
out forever.
Only 4 laps.
Yeah, it seemed like he was out forever. That makes a big difference at Chicago, though. 4 laps tires.
And it's bonkers because we have other tracks like Kansas. 4 laps don't mean that much, and 4 laps at Charlotte mean a lot less than it does here.
Yeah, it was tough tonight. That's setup. It was just showing the rubber every lap. You could feel it. And hats off to Derek, man. He's super fast tonight. Kevin was fast tonight. There's a lot of those guys out there super fast. And Sandy to come from the back and come all the way to the front. I think he had probably the most impressive drive tonight.
Michael, it's a hard fought second place. Watching you out there, you could tell the car was a handful. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I'm glad to get it tonight. That was a gift. Yeah, I want to thank God himself. I want to thank all the Lucky Dog members, all the Lucky Dog drivers that come out. I want to thank Lucky Dog Broadcasting. We'll thank you, William especially. We'll thank Brian for all the hard work he does. Darren, Derek for winning the race tonight, and Sandy for doing good. John Hale did good. And I think Johnny, he did really good. Got some bad tire wear there, but yeah, great top 5.
Well, thank you, Michael, and
I also want
hopefully
to
we
thank,
get to talk to you next time.
Yeah, I want to thank Tracy, Molly, Cash, and Winston.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, thank you, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, sir.
And that should just about do us for this evening. I do believe our Lucky Dog Wednesday series will be running its recruitment race tomorrow night. I'm not certain. I do know tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so we shall see. I mean, we know that if you're not married, it's Singles Awareness Day, and if you don't have anybody to spend Valentine's Day with, maybe you spend it with us tomorrow night. I do know for certain that we will be back racing on Thursday for sure. If my voice is still doing all right, I will be calling that one. That will be a recruitment race for our Thursday Truck Series. Friday night, we will have our late model stock short track series, and on Saturday will be our Xfinity Super Speedway series. And I want to wish everyone on Sunday a happy Daytona 500 day. Hopefully you guys enjoy that race. And then we'll be back at it ourselves on Monday for our Gen 4 series. Until Thursday then, I think that about wraps it up. So we will catch you later. Have a good one.